Hey there, football fans. Welcome back to Goalside! Before we start, don't forget to participate in our lottery for a chance to win a $100 Amazon gift card. All you have to do is like this video, subscribe to the channel, and write the hidden message you'll find later on in the comments. Good luck. He's one of the best managers ever, an innovator, a media personality, a leader, and above all, a serial winner. Pep Guardiola revolutionized football with his approach to the sport, analyzing every single aspect, obsessively looking for perfection, knowing full well he'll never be happy and content with his work, always taking it one step further. But how did he become such a mythical figure? It's a long story dating back to the 1990s. Pep Guardiola joined La Masia at just 13 years of age. It didn't take long for him to impress, rising through the ranks at Barcelona, adjusting and adapting very well to any task the coaches would set him up with. However, it wasn't until 1990, when Guardiola was 19 years old, that he made the big breakthrough. This wasn't a coincidence because one man in specific wanted him in the senior squad, and that man was Johan Cruyff himself. The Dutchman was so impressed with the youngster's talent of understanding and reading the game in the midfield that he immediately pulled him onto the first team and set him up as a pivot in his dream team. The dream team remains as one of the best footballing teams ever assembled. Hristo Stoichkov, Ronald Koeman, Zubizarreta, Romario, Laudrup, all made up for an unstoppable attacking machine, destroying everything in their path. This led Barcelona to win La Liga in 4 consecutive years from 1990 through 94, as well as becoming the European champions for the first time in the club's history in 1992. Guardiola was in the middle of it all, pulling the strings and playing perhaps the most responsible position in the team, even as a youngster. More importantly, Pep wanted to learn everything. He always asked Cruyff various questions, studying and analyzing the game, looking for new ideas and improvements in his quest to find the perfection on the pitch. However, Barca fell off after Cruyff left the club in 1996. While they won another 2 La Liga titles after, he left the club in 2001 in an unspectacular fashion as the team was booed off the pitch after the Copa del Rey disappointment. Guardiola played in Italy for a couple of years before finally retiring and immediately starting to learn about the managerial world. Guardiola was at that point a Barcelona legend, so the club would always find a place for him. Pep and his loyal assistant Tito Vilanova took over Barcelona B in June of 2007. They would go on to achieve promotion to the second division of Spanish football together. Meanwhile, the first team was going through a crisis with Frank Rijkaard at the helm. Ronaldinho and Deco partied to oblivion, leading to poor performances on the pitch as Barca went trophyless in 2007 and 8. This prompted the board to look for a new solution on the bench. It went down to either Jose Mourinho or Pep Guardiola. The club president at the time, Joan Laporta, insisted on Guardiola after advising with Cruyff, and it was on. Pep arrived and instantly made an impact. He chased away Ronaldinho and Deco from the club, cleaning up the air and setting his authority in place right from the start. Guardiola knew he had to build around the upcoming star Lionel Messi, and so he did. Playing 4-3-3, Barcelona had the most successful season in history under Pep as they won 6 trophies in 2009, dominating La Liga, the Champions League, and the Copa del Rey, as well as sweeping all Super Cup competitions and becoming the world champions. They were on top of the world. Tiki-taka system that forced quick passing interchange fit perfectly with midfield of Javi Hernandez and Andre Iniesta. Samuel Eto'o scored a lot of crucial goals, but Pep never liked his attitude, selling him in the summer of 2009, bringing Zlatan Ibrahimovic into his place. Zlatan and Pep had a lot of bad moments at Barca. The Spaniard demanded total control and authority, which the Swede didn't like at all, leading to numerous awkward situations. Zlatan never forgave Pep to this day, and recalling his time at Barca, he claims, "When you buy me, you are buying a Ferrari. If you drive a Ferrari, you put premium petrol in the tank. You hit the motorway, and you step on the gas." Guardiola filled up with diesel and took a spin in the countryside. He should have bought a Fiat. At Barca, players were banned from driving their sports cars to training. I thought this was ridiculous. It was no one's business what car I drive. So in April, before a match with Almeria, I drove my Ferrari Enzo to work. It caused a scene. Safe to say that Zlatan didn't handle the authority very well. Nevertheless, as soon as he left the club, Guardiola would go on and win another double of Champions League and La Liga in 2011 and 12, with David Villa as Ibrahimovic's replacement. The last season at Barca brought only Copa del Rey glory, but this time he left as a hero and perhaps the best manager in the history of the club. Fans in Catalonia are still hoping for Pep's comeback one day, but Guardiola himself denied those claims. "I will never go back to Barcelona to be a coach there. My period there is done." The next chapter was a big one, a move to Bayern Munich. Now, the circumstances of this move were all but easy for Guardiola. The Bavarians were just coming off a big season where they won everything: the Bundesliga, the DBF Cup, and the Champions League. The pressure on Pep after taking over in the 2013-14 season was enormous. However, the Spaniard was up for the task. In his year off, he went to the USA where he wanted to get away from the spotlight and managed to learn German in record time. But the takeover was never going to be an easy task. With a squad that just won it all, Bayern's players thought there was nothing new they could learn from Pep. Thus, it took a while until they applied all of his principles in the actual football matches. The first season at Bayern was of mixed success. While the Bavarians stumbled through Bundesliga, they lost out in the Champions League in the semifinals with a heavy 5-1 loss against Los Blancos. The critics hit Guardiola hard, and many suspected his ability to coach outside of Barcelona. The following season saw Bayern play some of the most dominant football Germany's ever seen. There was no doubt whatsoever that they'd win the Bundesliga. Borussia Dortmund fell apart under Jurgen Klopp, and there wasn't any real competition anywhere. The Champions League was the primary goal now. His own club was waiting for him in the semifinals as Barcelona were powering through Europe with the historic MSN trio in the attack consisting of Messi, Suarez, and Neymar. The first leg of the tie saw Bayern play a very brave brand of football, only to be nullified by Messi's magic as the Argentinian scored 2 quick goals towards the end of the match to sink Pep's hopes. Even though the Bavarians showed bravery and heart in the second leg, their chances were long gone, and another season had gone by without European success. At this point, the team fully bought into Pep's ideas, playing short passes in order to open up space, creating one-on-one wing situations for Ribery and Robben. All of it was working to perfection. So, Pep's third season at Bayern saw them face some competition in the Bundesliga as well. Thomas Tuchel took over at Dortmund and had a record-breaking season in the league as Dortmund reached 78 points. But they weren't even close to Pep's powerhouse that saw Bayern win 88 points, drawing only 4 times while losing just twice in the whole season. The only goal both for Bayern and Pep was now the Champions League. It was all going well. Bayern prepared to face Atletico Madrid in the semis as Cholo Simeone's side played some of the roughest and most offensive football in Europe. However, they were brilliant in doing so, knocking out Barca in the quarterfinals. The first leg saw Atletico come out with a hard-fought 1-0 win over the Bavarians. The Guardiola's men were optimistic for a good result at home in Munich. It actually started pretty well. Lewandowski leveled the tie in the first half by making it 1-0 for Bayern. But in the second half, Pep made a grave mistake. He didn't want to back down and chase the second goal, playing attacking football at all costs. This meant that his center backs were playing in the middle of the pitch, holding a high line against the counter-attacking side such as Atletico. At one point, Antoine Griezmann broke away with all the space in the world available to him. The Frenchman scored past Noir and broke Pep's heart, knowing he wouldn't win the Champions League in his tenure in Munich. At this point, Guardiola already had a contract signed with Manchester City. Upon ending his time at Bayern, many people criticized him for failing to win the Champions League, despite playing some of the best football in Europe. And now, it was time to prove himself once again in England. Manchester City was a big challenge. They hadn't won the league since 2014 and never won the Champions League. Pep took over, but it wasn't all that great. He complained about England football and their tendencies to kick the ball over the middle, refusing to play to feet. The first season saw him lose the league title to Antonio Conte's Chelsea. However, the second season showed just how much of a master Pep is, as Man City set the record with 100 Premier League points. It was an unprecedented feat and one worth praising him for. They dropped out of the Champions League by barely losing to Liverpool with multiple questionable referee decisions going against them. Pep introduced almost a revolution in English football. He played from the back, something that the managers there hated doing before he arrived. At the beginning of his third season in England, most of the country was playing from the back, replicating Pep's approach, and that's what makes him so good. His offensive football mixed with prepared mechanisms with the ball created a monster from his Manchester City side, and everyone wanted a part of it. The third season saw the epic battle between City and Liverpool, and as it turned out, the clash was the decider where Leroy Sané scored the match winner in a thriller you rarely see. Pep still hasn't won the Champions League with City, making it 6 full seasons since leaving Barca. He is now on his way to redemption in Europe. For the first time ever, he lost the league early on, allowing him to completely focus on the Champions League. The first signs are promising. City beat Real Madrid 2-1 at the Bernabeu, displaying wonderful footballing and showing character after going 1-0 down against Los Blancos. But no matter what happens, Pep Guardiola remains a revolutionary that brought a fresh vision to football, changing things from the core.